So I just finished making a video talking about the Detroit Red Wings and how I think a lot of Red Wing fans are upset about the draft lottery, how they're selecting fourth overall. Obviously, we've seen some people online getting pretty frustrated with the format. Obviously, Brian Burke said it is a disgrace to the NHL for having a play-in get the first overall pick and the worst team in the NHL drafting fourth. We'll be taking a look at that in this video and how the Detroit Red Wings can still end up getting Tim Stutzle or a very solid player at this year's NHL draft. I'll be taking a look at that in this video. If you like what we're doing here at Goal Line Hockey, want to see the latest news around the NHL, make sure you give this video a thumbs up and a subscribe down below. And let's take a look at how Tim Stutzle can still go to the Detroit Red Wings. So yes, in a crazy scenario, and honestly, it's pretty likely that the Detroit Red Wings can still draft the German player who's been playing with the Mannheim Eagles this past season, Tim Stutzle. There's still a scenario where Stevie Yzerman can still get possibly his top choice. So, starting things off, we're going to take a look at what the last couple of years of fourth overall draft picks have been. Now, I think Red Wing fans have been made it pretty well known online how disappointed they are with the draft lottery and how the system has gone. They're drafting fourth overall. How could they do this to us? The NHL is rigged. They're making us pay for winning the way we did over the past couple of decades. This and that. It's a lottery. That's how it goes. And I think obviously Red Wing fans don't want to hear that too much, but I mean that's the honest truth. And you know what? At this spot, the Detroit Red Wings can still draft a very solid player. Now, like I mentioned earlier, the big guy that we've been hearing that Steve Yzerman has been looking very highly at is the German player, center, left winger. Let's just go with forward to keep it less complicated. Tim Stutzle. He's been playing with the Mannheim Eagles last season. He put up pretty good numbers in the DEL, and obviously he looks like a very promising prospect. He could go second overall pick, or he could possibly go fourth overall. And we'll be looking at that scenario. So let's start off, though, looking at the past 5 years of fourth overall draft picks. Going back to 2015, where we saw the Toronto Maple Leafs draft Mitch Marner. Now, Mitch Marner is no slouch in his own right. Probably one of the best wingers in the NHL at this time. He was drafted fourth overall. 2016, the Edmonton Oilers select Jesse Puljujarvi. Okay, so I'm going to say out of all the five names here, Jesse Puljujarvi is the exception to the rule where he is not at that same level of player. I mean, he still could become that. He is still fairly young, but compared to these other players, we could all agree Jesse Puljujarvi is a step below them. But now we look at 2017. The Colorado Avalanche select Cale Makar at fourth overall. Pretty solid defenseman for the Colorado Avalanche. One of the better young defensemen in today's NHL game. Fourth overall. Now we move on to 2018 where the Ottawa Senators select Brady Tkachuk. Pretty solid pickup there for the Ottawa Senators. Probably one of their best wingers on the team. It's not saying much, but still, across the NHL, he is a very solid player. He would be a solid pickup for any NHL team. Brady Tkachuk, fourth overall. Now we go to last season. In the 2019 NHL draft, where the Ottawa Senators pick, which went to the Colorado Avalanche, became fourth overall pick, defenseman Bowen Byram. Pretty solid defenseman also. So, in the past 5 years, only one of these players has been really a bust. I'm not going to say Puljujarvi's a bust quite yet. Obviously, he doesn't have the potential that the other four players do, or a player in this draft, but I mean, this is a solid pickup still for the Detroit Red Wings. And we look at who they could be drafting. And we'll be taking a look at that now. So I have, in this scenario where the Detroit Red Wings can still draft Tim Stutzle at first overall. It doesn't matter who that play-in team is. The Islanders, the Canadiens, the Rangers, the Penguins, whatever team that ends up being. They're going to draft Alexis Lafreniere. No questions asked. And then second overall, things start to get interesting because some people have had Tim Stutzle for a large portion of the season. Some people have had Quinton Byfield, most of the way through. But in this scenario, the Los Angeles Kings, if they select Quinton Byfield, so now you've got Lafreniere and Quinton Byfield. off the board. Now you get to number 3, where there's the Ottawa Senators. Now they also have pick number 5, so they may not go for the best player available. They may go for the guy that they know more about. More likely the guy that is playing in right down the road with the Ottawa 67s in the OHL, the best team in the OHL, and not to mention probably one of the best players on the Ottawa 67s. They may pick up the young, raw talent in Marco Rossi. So there you go. So now you've got Lafreniere at number 1. LA picks up Quentin Byfield. And at number 3, the Ottawa 67 player Marco Rossi could go 3rd overall. And now, there you go. At number 4, the Detroit Red Wings can still draft Tim Stutzle. Now, back, a couple months back, there was talk, I don't know how credible it is, but it's been talked about that if Stevie Yzerman had the 1st overall pick, it may be more of a debate whether he would pick Tim Stutzle or Alexis Lafreniere 1st overall. Now, I think most people would say it would be Lafreniere, but Steve Yzerman has supposedly been gloating about how good Tim Stutzle is. And not to mention, they picked up Moritz Seider in the 1st round last season. So now they could also add another German to that group in Tim Stutzle. There is still a scenario, if you look at it in a broad context, that the Detroit Red Wings, for all we know, this could have been their 1st overall pick that they are selecting 4th overall. There's still that scenario that, who knows, even if they won the draft lottery, Stevie Yzerman may have still picked up Tim Stutzle. Now, I'm not saying that's the absolute, I'm sure fans will say, no way, he still would have picked Lafreniere, but there was mentions and talk that Tim Stutzle could be that guy for the Detroit Red Wings, even with the 1st overall pick. So, Steve Yzerman may still be getting his top choice, but at 4th overall. There is that scenario, ladies and gentlemen. There is still a chance that we see that happen. Now, again, like I said, that is still a very likely scenario. I think a lot of people, I'm a little bit more, questioning that 2nd overall pick. I still think Stutzle could be an option there for the Los Angeles Kings. But you've got Lafreniere, Byfield, and the local boy in Rossi going to the Ottawa Senators. And then there's Tim Stutzle at number 4. So there you go, the Detroit Red Wings. This could be your guy. He's going to be the best prospect you've had in a long time. Moritz Seider, who was picked 6th overall last season, this is an even more valuable player than him. Philip Zadina, when he was drafted out, he was talking about he's going to score all these goals on all these teams that passed on him. He was a 6th or 7th overall pick. This is the best draft pick, like I mentioned earlier in this video. This is the best draft pick the Detroit Red Wings have had in over 30 years. So this is a great opportunity for the Detroit Red Wings here. They can really solidify their team. And yes, they didn't get the 1st overall pick. And that's disappointing. And I think we could all sit here and say, we wish the Red Wings had the 1st overall pick and they could have their pick of the litter, whether they wanted Lafreniere or Tim Stutzle at that point. It may look like a harder decision for a guy like Steve Yzerman at that point. But now, if anything, it makes his decision easier, because if Lafreniere is off the board, if Byfield's off the board, if Rossi's off the board, it just makes it that much easier to pick Tim Stutzle at number 4 overall. So leave in the comment section down below, Detroit fans. I think you're very upset, and I completely get that. The fact you moved down 3 spots, it feels like you got snubbed. But they may still get their top option, or at least Steve Yzerman's top option, at the draft still this year, even besides the fact. And looking at all these players that I mentioned, Mitch Marner, Cale Makar, Brady Tkachuk, Bowen Byram, they're all solid NHL players, and there's still a chance that the Detroit Red Wings can still get their guy at number 4. So leave in the comment section down below, what do you think of the Detroit Red Wings? Who do you think they're going to take with that 4th spot? And would you be confident with Steve Yzerman? And do you think that they will pick a guy like Tim Stutzle overall? Or if it's not Tim Stutzle, who else do you think? Do you think they maybe pick up a guy off the board? I mean, we know the Detroit Red Wings like to pick up guys that are from Sweden. Maybe that was more of a Ken Holland thing, but maybe they pick up, they've had Lidstrom, they've had Zetterberg. Do they maybe look at a guy like Lucas Raymond or Alex Holtz on the wing? Or maybe if Marco Rossi is still available, do they pick up Marco Rossi? So leave in the comment section down below, who do you think the Detroit Red Wings will pick at number 4? And if you like what we're doing here at Goal Line Hockey, want to see the latest news around the NHL, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and a subscribe. down below. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.